I made a video. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you're just running in circles? Like you are busy all the time, but the things that you really want, like making more money, getting more opportunities, building more relationships, you are not really seeing any tangible results. I'm sure everybody has felt like that. Um, Let me tell you a story about a guy called Tunde. Tunde is a very sharp guy. He's a very ambitious guy in his early 20. So he's ambitious. He has a lot of goals, but he has one main goal that he's really ambitious about. That is becoming a phone engineer, like a manager on his own. He wants to open up a shop that he will be handling, and he will have people working under him. That's very good. But Tunde is still an intern in his boss's shop, and his boss orders him around, and is not really close to his main goal yet. So Tunde wakes up every morning, energized. He goes to work. He works hard. He does everything that he has to do, and he comes back home with little to show for it. It's not that he's not hardworking. He is, but the results he's seeing, he knows that if he continues like this, it will take a very long time for you to meet his goals, and he wants to get those goals within a year or two. So Tunde got tired of working hard and getting little yield in return. So he went online and he searched how to achieve my goals. And the first thing that came up was through planning. It's very simple. So Tunde was confused at first, but he said, it's planning now. I've seen this a lot. A lot of persons have talked about it. What's new there? But he was disappointed that the answer he got was planning, but yet he was still curious and determined enough to push further. So he learned how to plan. He dug deep, and it wasn't easy at first, as most things are, but he was determined and he stood steadfast. And long story short, Tunde has three um, phone engineering jobs right now, where they repair and he also sells some phone parts. So he is now the manager of three shops that are working very fine. And it took him up to 3 to 4 years to achieve this, when he thought it would take up to like 20 years. Because of planning, Today was able to achieve his goals and even surpass the initial goal that he had. He was planning to get one goal, but because of planning, he got up to three. So that's what I would like to share in this video. How Tunde was able to achieve his goals through planning. Now, how do we achieve our goals? I'll break it down into 5 easy steps. The first one is define your goal clearly. Define it very clearly. Instead of saying, I want to make more money, I want to make a big amount of money, say, I want to make the specific amount of money that you have in mind, and give yourself a deadline. For example, I want to make 500,000 naira from now till month end. That is a solid goal. It's a goal. We'll go into steps on how to break it down and how to achieve it. But let the goal be clear. I want to make 500,000 naira from now till month end, because month end has a date. And once you set that date, you have a limited amount of time to meet that goal. And that will push you further to achieving it. Now, the second step towards achieving your goals is to break it down. Depending on the goal that you plan to achieve, it's going to require a lot of um, steps to achieving it. So it's advisable to break the goals down into smaller milestones or smaller achievable tasks that you can build up to meeting the main goal. Working with the 5,000 naira goal that Tunde plans to achieve, maybe this is part of him meeting his main goal, which is to own a phone repair shop on his own. It doesn't really matter, but how he plans to achieve that, this is what I'm looking into. So he sets a goal to make 500,000 naira by the end of the month. There are 30 days in the month, meaning that breaking it down, that should be 4 weeks. So there are 4 weeks in a month. If you share that amount of money throughout the week, that will be 135,000 naira per week. So Tunde has to raise up 135,000 naira per week, knowing that 135 naira is smaller than 500,000 naira. It will give him some comfort in trying to meet those goals than the whole 5,000 naira in just a single month. So you break it down into smaller achievable goals. Since Tunde already works in a full engineering shop, there it makes average up to like, let's say, 40 to 50,000 naira a week. But if he wants to make more, he can pressure himself and tell his boss to give him more jobs. And that can, on a good week, he can make up to like 120 to 130,000 naira within a week. So achieving 135,000 naira is possible for Tunde. So because he has already set his goals and he placed a deadline. Remember, a deadline is very important. And he placed a deadline that will motivate him to ask his boss more. Because the opportunity was there all along because they have a lot of customers. But he didn't have a didn't have a specific goal in mind. But now, having set a specific goal, which is 500,000 naira, and he has broken them down into smaller chunks, which is 125,000 naira per week, he will feel motivated to get more jobs and earn at least 125,000 naira every week so that he can make his ultimate goal. So, as Tunde has broken down the goal into smaller chunks, it will make it more likely that he will be able to achieve his goals if he follows through every week, meeting those tiny goals to be able to achieve the bigger goal. So, in this step, the third step, it talks about allocation of time. Manage your time. You know that we are humans, we have limited times. We don't have all the time in the world because we have a system that we normally follow. So introducing a goal, there are some basic tasks that we have to do no matter what. We have to bake, we have to eat, we have to take breaks. There are some fundamental things that we can't change. But since we've set a new goal, we have to keep in mind that there will be some new actions that we have to implement that will make us to achieve this new goal that we've not achieved before. So keep it in mind that you're going to have to sacrifice some things that are not important to get the things that are very important. And don't mind my setup. I just starting up. I know it's not really the best, but the message is what matters. I hope the message will be very helpful to you. This is a very important part to meeting any goal. You probably already have a system that you follow, or maybe you don't have one. But if you don't have one, the world will create a system for you. um, you wake up, you have to do some certain things, you have to go to certain places. So that's your system. Even though you don't know, you already have a system. When you set a goal, you have to adjust that system, adjust your time, adjust your activities so that they don't clash with your goals. For example, Tunde will wake up every morning, he will go to the shop, he will have to clean up and he will start attending to customers. But in let's say when it gets to the midday, Tunde will leave his shop, he will go and hang out with friends. No, that's not bad necessarily, but in the grand scheme of things, if you plan to achieve a specific target, there are some things that you should do and there are some things that you should not do. You should not while away time when there are works to be done. Let me give a proper schedule, a time schedule to meeting that goal. I say in the morning, it comes to work, clean up, I start attending to customer. But later in the midday, he should not go out and hang out with friends, but go through his journal book and see if what he's doing is in line with him meeting his goals. If they're in line, or if he has met his target, then he can take a break. But if you have not met your target, you should realize that, oh, you are falling short. So you should get back on your feet and take the necessary actions towards meeting that goal. Maybe in form of attending to more customers, requesting for more jobs from your boss, and so on. And if as today continues to do that, you will see that he'll be able to meet his daily goals. Maybe his daily goals will now be broken down even further. But keep in mind that the weekly goals is still 125,000 naira. So when he sees the amount that he has earned today and compared to the end goal, you'll feel a little bit comfortable if you have earned more than or less than. But if you have not earned enough, that will keep motivating you to get more jobs so that you can meet the weekly goals, which will eventually end up or resulting in him getting the monthly goals, which is 500,000 naira. The next step is identification of obstacles. To any goal that's worthwhile, there will always be challenges. There will always be obstacles. There will always be a difficult point along the line. So it determines on how much you want to achieve that goal. That will make you, that will motivate you to overcome such obstacles. For example, let's use Tunde's story. So Tunde was on track. He was meeting his weekly goals. He was raising up the amount of money needed to achieve his monthly goal, which is 500,000 naira. But something unusual happened. There was a event in their area. There was a very popular event in this town, and everybody was rushing there to celebrate and to just witness what was going on. So there were not really, um, there weren't any customers to patronize Tunde's shop, Tunde's boss's shop. So it was not making much money as it was before. So um, Tunde was worried. He was feeling pressured that he was not going to be able to meet his goals. He was panicking. But his boss told him that don't worry, it's normal. Once in a while, you can't um, predict what will happen later in the future. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it does not go well. But Tunde was very persistent and was very determined. He wanted to achieve his goals by all means. So he got creative. He saw that during the event, a lot of persons' phones might get damaged, and since the place is a rented land, there are not really any shops close by. So he saw it as an opportunity. So he decided that, hmm, if that's the case, why don't I rent? Because there are some pieces of land that are there. You can just rent them for a little amount of money just for the day, 5,000 naira. Why don't I rent them and just help people fix their phone at the price? It was a good idea, but the issue was that he didn't have that much tools. So he talked to his boss, like, I have this goal I'm trying to meet, and this is the idea I proposed. Please, can you lend me some tools? And his boss was very pleased that he saw his determination and he was willing to do that, take the awkwardness to stress himself to try and achieve that goal. And his boss said, no problem, you can have them, but make sure you bring them back in one piece. So Tunde took it to the venue, he set it up, and that day, Tunde was able to raise 250,000 naira from a single day. So sometimes you might hit a pain point, a point that will be making the goal seem unachievable. Don't panic, just become and think creatively so that you can overcome that challenge. The fifth step to achieving your goal is tracking progress. You have to be able to track progress. That will help you um, identify the issues where you're lacking, the areas where you're lacking, and the areas where you need to improve. For example, how Tunde was able to track his progress was set a weekly, he set a daily goal. Let's say every three days, he will check his balance to see if the money that was there was up to the amount needed to be able to meet his weekly goals. For example, every Wednesday, he would set a target for, let's say, 60,000 naira, 65,000 naira. And every Wednesday, when he checked that his money was not up to 65,000 naira, he would work harder for the rest of the day. That is, it normally checks in the afternoon, so he work very hard towards the evening, and most of the time he end up meeting his goals during that day. So Tunde had a way of tracking his progress in the short term and also in long term. How he tracked his progress was at the end of the week, he would check his account balance if the amount that he needed was there. And that was very effective. If you were trying to lose weight or if maybe any other goal that you have in mind, always come up with a systematic way to track your progress. Use numbers. I recommend it. Use numbers. Numbers is a very clear way to see if you are progressing or if you are not progressing. So ensure you do research on whatever goal you're trying to achieve and set milestones so that you're able to track your progress. All right. So just a quick summary on everything we've talked about so far. Yes, it's possible. You can get what you want. You can get whatever you want. You can achieve whatever goal you have in plan. You just have to be serious about it. You have to write a plan on it. First step you have to do is to state the goal very clearly. Write it down. Make sure that that is exactly what you want. After that, you have to break it down into achievable steps, easy, achievable steps. And when you're done with that, you have to allocate your time. It's very important because if you don't do that, you feel like you're falling short. You feel like you're not meeting up. Schedule where you have to do the important task and when you have to rest and relax. That's very important. The first step is you have to identify obstacles. What are those things that you normally do that you know this will distract me from achieving my goal? This will stop me from moving forward. This will prevent me from meeting my targets. Then you have to make a decision that you are going to stop doing those things, make sacrifices. And the fifth step is you have to track progress. So whenever you see yourself hitting milestones, you are getting those goals you broke down into small chunks. You are meeting them. You will feel a sense of confidence. You feel happy. You feel excited that you are very close to achieving your goal, and that will motivate you to even work harder to make sure and ensure that you meet your goals. So setting goals is not that difficult. It's easy, and I hope this video helps. And thanks for watching to this point. Thanks for you really tried if you made it up to this point. Hope you took notes. Ensure to take notes. Ensure you review them to practice them. And if this was helpful, please click on the like and subscribe button. Really appreciate that. My name is Ashama Edwin, and I'll see you next time.